In this episode, we're going to be battling exhaustion. It's yet another bullshit to deal with. Like, how do people live and breathe anymore? There's just some basic life bullshits, but you just forget about it. You don't get to focus on it. Uh, but it's sometimes very nice to find a bullshit in your life and just smash it, destroy it, figure out everything about exhaustion, because that shit is occurring in most people's lives. However, for me, if it occurs for me, like, I'm definitely doing something wrong because I have plenty of free time. I don't have to exhaust myself. I'm not supposed to allow myself to have a negative experience in life in general, because that is just suffering and pain and just exhaust more than just my energy. Exhausting my sanity is a little bit too dangerous and I can't afford it. So let's find out all the ways that we can beat exhaustion. This might take a while. This video might take a while because I need to explore just the way I feel in general and sort of meditate on this idea a little bit deeper than usual. My sanity and mood can be drained. So even if I play a game that I should enjoy, I would. I would enjoy it to some extent, and it might keep me awake or whatever. But it's not guaranteed. And usually that's the way it works. Like if you're doing something annoying and something you should have been avoiding, but you just can't because you're trying a new thing, technically that's the bad thing to do. Like, you're not supposed to do new things that would exhaust you, that you haven't explored yet, which is why it's perfect for me to make this video. I've explored making these videos and explored the concept of learning things by vocalizing my thoughts and finding, oh shit, that's a pretty good thought in comparison to everything else. Like, you not only vocalize thoughts, you thinking out loud, you're pretending to talk to someone, but all these thoughts kind of start floating around, and then you're dealing with a cloud of a matrix, basically, trying to connect the dots and find that sweet spot, the chemical X, the solution, or the problem into a solution, because finding a problem is half the way there. Sometimes you don't even know exactly what is causing the exhaustion. You can blame, masturbation. The lemon squeezy thing can be definitely exhausting. Or, again, the natural thing is both are exhausting, okay? Trying to do a lot of hard work, which is like a negative space, and then you try to find positivity, which can also be exhausting because you're trying to, balance two things while you're low on energy. So the first thing, to do is obviously catch yourself while you're low on energy and not demand as much. And don't allow, like, if you're not in the mood, don't allow people to, like, waste your energy, because you want to just sort of feel normal and lower the quality of your work without being demanded to do the same amount of work. If you don't feel like it, you're not supposed to be pushed around. Unless, something like that is somewhat expected from you, but you gotta find a better job if it's exhausting, all right? You gotta find a better thing to do. It's best to just be flexible, and it's something that we still haven't demanded properly out of, the way we do jobs in general, like, to be able to be flexible, to just be around and do your job whenever you feel like it and get paid for the amount of work you have done. That's it. And if you receive complaints, then you get a little bit of a fine, a cut. Like, but we can't do that because there's too much regulation, there's too much standardization, there's too many expectations to follow. blah blah blah. We can't even make jobs like that. Like, I don't know what's going on, bro. And there's no ability to make transactions. So I'm just like mentally exhausted for how the world works, even. You know, the entire world system is exhausting as hell. This is how I died, okay? I am a dead person. I'm floating in dead space, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna live properly ever again. I just get to float around and enjoy my fantasy world, but the real world no longer gets to see me and interact with me and doesn't even want to. So I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm dead. Successfully. It's the most successful death I've ever received in my life, you know? Yeah, it's as confusing as it gets, but it's not confusing because there's 4 layers of society. All right, and I've described it a few times. There's the shadows, there's the celebrities, the poppies, there's the normies, and there is the dead space. Yeah, that's where I am. I'm dead. Technically. Not literally, but technical things actually make more sense than literal things. If you came and actually worried whether I'm dead or not, you would find me alive because you would actually find I'm like a Schrodinger's cat. If you open the box, the cat is alive because you open the fucking box. It's there, it's alive. But if you close the box, it's probably dead. You know, because cat's not supposed to be in boxes. Alright? Schrodinger's cat is dead. Until you open the box and make it alive again. That's how it works, boys. Like, I'm not supposed to be antisocial human being who still puts efforts in trying to make friends but still ends up without any social connection whatsoever because reality is too scary and I don't want to socialize with real people, but then I put everything in such a difficult level, but I'm scared that the real people are gonna act like NPCs and I don't know how to interact with them. And it's just a entangled mess, I'm not gonna lie. It's just a tangled mess because analyzing the world system and how fucking weird it is and how much I don't like it and how much people just don't want to be around me in terms of virtual space. So I'm like I'm trying to understand of like in real world you would do the same thing, right? Like you would try and avoid me. You would not be friendly enough anymore. And it pisses me off then. So what the fuck are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to share space? Or do I even want friends anymore? So all of a sudden, like you understand, I had to deal with sanity dumping, trying to ask a bunch of questions and do everything myself. Like it would be absolutely amazing if other people would be able to help. But instead of help, we get hell. The world system is now hell and has to be destroyed and rebuilt from scratch. Apparently that's helpful. Sometimes natural disaster of just everything burning down can spawn something better in return. Or you just steal space from other people. Like a nice capitalist. Oh, oops, your house is dead. I want to purchase your house now. Thank you very much. How much will it be? No, it was it was complete accident that your house burned down, but I want to purchase it right now. That piece of land that you have, complete accident, by the way. I usually, you know, I float around and I don't know whether I have energy or not until I get somewhat exhausted into the realm of pain. Of like, now I'm probably supposed to be in bed, but I still don't know what to do because I will not sleep in bed. So like, I'll feel a lot better when I relax myself, but what do I do when I'm relaxed, right? That's another thing. sometimes I feel like laying in bed, but I want to be productive. So I just get torn of like, what is the position that I'm supposed to be in based on my feelings? Yes, it's kind of like a robotic sense that I have to master, but it's a little bit better than just, being confused. It's better to be a robot than be a confused blob floating in space of your fantasy. I don't know, man. But yeah, I'm dead until you open the box and check on me and look. I'm alive because you're looking at me right now. Please take me away. I don't want to be here anymore. But I kind of do, because potentially a lot of people just gonna disappear because it's too exhausting to be in these positions. All right? They can still be exhausting. Like, if I'm exhausted in dead space and I still feel like there's too much stuff to do in my fantasy world, how is that? I still have to keep myself alive, by the way, and my sanity is the only thing that is required for me to keep going. If I lose sanity, then it's game over, you know. So that's that one resource I'm trying to keep pumping. Maybe if I start exhausting on that one and my sanity resource sets on fire, like, it is really bad. But at the same time, I do feel, in a way, like I'm using the extinguisher. Yeah, I'm like putting fires with an extinguisher actively, so it doesn't touch my sanity. It's almost like, these were some hot years of inflation and all that shit, of people not really knowing what to do when the solution is sort of there. It's just like, let's be patient, look for solutions, let's unite towards those things. But instead we're gonna just jump from one crisis to the other without being able to even grasp the solution. Everything is just gonna slip through our fingers. A lot of good things we have made will slip through our fingers. So we think, we should think that having ability to just go to the grocery store, pick up food, pick up your essential items, and be able to survive is a good thing, and it's like very convenient. But trying to go beyond that point and ask for more things than just people working very hard just to survive and earn money, the moment you're like, okay, like, we've done this layer, but can we go a little layer higher? And then you realize most people want to get drunk, they want to have pets, they want to have children, they want to get married, they want to have relationships to reject you. They have jobs that generate so much money they don't give a fuck anymore about anyone else. At some point, this layer is just shut down. We go one layer. People earn their money. They earn their money. They might socialize to some extent, but you're not invited. All right? You're just not invited by default. They don't want to socialize generally, right? Where there's another layer, another resource of like social resource, right? We're interconnecting, we're building something, and then we can actually grow something here as well, where people are way more happier on this layer. Instead, we just like earn our money and we just die trying to get anywhere, so we just give up. All right, giving up is also technically dying in a way. What I gave up chasing reality, because reality is also something that slips through my fingers. Like, I'm tired. I don't want to do regular work. Like, it's too much. And the moment I have money, I have enough money to survive, that's all I want to do. Just survive and just observe things. And it's good enough for me, to be honest. Because doing anything else is so much more pressure. So most people just give up because they think like the next layer is even more effort required than they already put in. It's like you do your job, you go back home and you try to create your home environment. But again, reality just slips through your fingers because you create your own reality. And your reality can be extremely exhausting. You know, if you take too many responsibilities for yourself, you will burn out. Like, you're not supposed to take all the responsibilities. In fact, it's pointless. It is pointless. Look how many YouTube videos are being created. Not by me, but by me alone, technically. One person can do just that. Vomit out YouTube videos. That's great. The problem is what everyone else is doing is competing against each other, and it's actually better and more productive to not compete, to just help each other out, right? It's very exhausting to compete. Competition is exhausting. It's best to help each other. And then you will make better content, more positive content, more cleaner content. You're just gonna unlock the Disney Channel, basically, on YouTube, where everyone is just putting all their effort together. You must understand, like, in order to create Disney, it probably took tons and tons of effort to get those shows squeezed out of society. Like, that took a lot of effort, and we have to appreciate all the Disney princesses that are still alive and kicking around, even if they turned from a rainbow into a pile of shit, you know, in terms of vibes. But I still appreciate what has been created, and I want to explore that, you know. I will never truly exhaust myself into boredom. So I allow myself to, like, burn and just make as many videos as I desire. It's just, I'm never gonna stop. I burn as a candle. I'm not burning as a flame surrounded by people who want me to upload a video every day or something, with high demands, with high requirement of production and work. I just want to please myself. All right? But at the same time, I want to make friends while I do it, because if I can please myself, you can please yourself too. It's not a big deal. I want you to learn the same skills as I do, you know. But people don't understand. People can't comprehend that I simply want to please myself and teach others how to do that, you know. Yeah, like, so we know the sources of exhaustion, right? Sources to steal or to drain energy. First of all, entertainment will drain energy, absolutely. Work will drain your energy. Obviously, sexuality will drain your energy, because interconnecting with people, maybe not always the best idea. Sometimes you have to force yourself into a weird situation. Maybe I even have to question myself on that part. It depends, right? Like, I want to structure myself into like a kind of test environment in a way, testing mindset. But there should be four, right? There should be four. And teamwork and socializing can be as exhausting, of like trying to understand what is your place in society. And my place is to be dead. Very good. Just float around, nurturing the dead space. I'm close to my mom, who also looks very fucking dead. But that makes me feel less dead, because, well, hey, I'm not alone suffering here. Except she pretends to be a normie still, you know. See, in Dead Space, you can fantasize about anything. You can even fantasize of being a celebrity sometimes. And if you get dreams to confirm that you are popping around, that's great. I mean, that's a thumbs up. Like that, those are really good feelings to have. You know, you're interconnecting yourself with the popular kids club. Everyone would want to do that. My mom is doing this thing constantly, which is annoying to me. Because, but at the same time, I have to accept it for what it is, right? She's trying to pretend to be a normie, but she knows that she's not a normie. But supports this sort of side. And it's a different thing, different polarity. I mean, I'm a younger person. I have better prospects in life. I'm doing more work and all that shit. She keeps me happy in a way, or happier. So I gotta be grateful on that part. In fact, I will bring her reputation a little bit up from a negative point of view. But not all the way up at all. Just slightly. I can only change it by one every day. Kind of. Unless something cool happens. Even shadows can be exhausting, just like going outside can be exhausting. Just by going outside, you're in the shadows. You completely change the way you operate things. When I'm making a video, I'm sort of like reaching for this like popularity mindset. If I'm trying to be a normie, it kind of happens across Discord, like talking to people or chatting with people in the comments, replying to comments, or just making comments, harvesting. This is very available for everyone. Just find the videos you like and harvest comments with most likes. See if you can reply something productive. If you have something to add. Because people elect the start of the conversation, but the conversation must go on. You must contribute. You must find yourself doing that if you want to be a normie, a proper normie. You know, because people can be pretentious and try to be in this location in an exhausted way. Like, one of the most important things, once you exhaust your positivity, you must move one step down, you know. So if I'm making a video and I'm like very tired and I can't make a video, I must move step down and just do more basic things. If I can't do that, then I might start playing games or whatever. Has nothing to do with socializing in any way. Nothing to do with connecting with people in any way. But I can do my pleasuring thing, which is, again, shadows also contain that, the S word, so to speak. Shadows also help you earn money. Shadows is where the workplaces are at. Very interesting stuff, right? But technically, if I try to make a sentence like this, it's obvious that every single level contains all the things. There's plenty of work in the popular kids club, in the normal lands, or shadows, or Dead Space. There's plenty of things to do either way, but you have to go down the moment you exhaust your positivity. If you don't feel positive in your life, move, step down. Now, what does that mean? Is that how it works? Because, you know, I will never truly be exhausted because I'm not supposed to. You know, like that would be stupid if I did. It's kind of like a suicidal behavior. I'm not supposed to exhaust myself. I'm supposed to keep myself happy. But I also need to understand where I am, and that I am in fact dead and screaming for help, and like, who's gonna do it? But so See, these are the battles. In order to move step upwards, you have to challenge a lot of people into a battle and potentially into a real battle, so they would lose grand resources. Except I've decided, actually, I'm just gonna stay dead for as long as I want to, because what's gonna happen, bro? What are the consequences? Because it feels like everyone's gonna get exhausted. Like every single person from every layer is just gonna go down and down. All kinds of people, like 90% of people, it seems like they should not be able to handle the full length of the apocalypse, because the apocalypse is also gonna stack up against everyone else. The popular kids have been affected, like 40% of them, by COVID, right? They can't do their shows. And now financially they cannot do anything. So this number grows to like 55% of people struggling, basically. But while more and more people are struggling, more and more people are actually recovering and finding space. So there's always like a regenerating effect going on. And potentially I'm just like waiting for my turn to be able to like push myself forward. It's just, I want to be a center of the universe. That's what I put Dead Space in. It's like the most amount of pressure and the least amount of pressure, because you're surrounded by people. So if something bad happens to you, someone's gonna lend a hand. Someone's gonna try and help. I will ask for them to do that. You know, I will never truly just disappear and stop functioning as a person. Someone will have to save me. But at the same time, someone can save me and finish the job of me dying. You know, they could just steal everything from me and destroy my life, just completely reset my progress, right? Depending on your layer, you all times positivity equals progress in life. But when do you lose all the progress is the question. When you can't handle life? When you're doing too many mistakes? That is interesting. Yeah, as long as you keep yourself happy, and as long as you keep yourself in a high level, again, I can still pretend that I'm high level. And I can trick my brain that I am. You know. So in a way, you can just freely move around from any location anyways. And if you're smart enough, perhaps this is where you're supposed to be, because you're smart enough to trick your brain at the same time. Your brain just appreciates that you're smart enough and allows you to be sort of dead and lazy. So dead kind of just means lazy. I don't need to do much because happiness is easy for me. You know, it's easy for me to gain enough positivity so I don't have to be in an actually high elevation layer, you know. But obviously, if I want it to be the best of the best, I will have to elevate myself somehow and find ways to, you know, improve my work even further, which I am actively doing. I'm not just like laying around and doing nothing just for the sake of keeping myself positive. I want to make maximum progress in life. Another thing to consider is that in your 20s, don't expect to escape where you are in life, right? You're bound by parents, which could mean all sorts of consequences and all sorts of people that you rely on to help you, basically. But in your 20s, you definitely haven't figured out life to be able to just become an independent person and escape where you are. All right? I try to go into the shadow world where I actually actively work for money. I earn money, but I was only surviving with that money. So it wasn't that liberating. You know, I get the money, but I also needed to escape, and I needed to, go back to where I came from all of a sudden, because I wasn't able to establish myself. Just because like I understood where money comes from and how factories look like, it didn't naturally just help me escape this knowledge, and people didn't wanted me to escape. There wasn't enough natural just force for me to stay in the shadows. I wasn't interconnecting with people. I wasn't socializing with people. It was just too complicated and difficult. Difficult enough not to even smell, bro. That was difficult enough. But imagine if I opened my mouth, like it is a tough, but it was possible. I'm not gonna say it was possible. People were putting just enough effort to kind of reach out to me, and I was able to turn things around if I had enough experience. I can't say that in Shadows I was completely doomed, but it's very hard. All right, it's very hard, and people still don't know what they're doing. So, like, I can put effort into the world, but like, even I cannot force people to understand what's going on. This is what's happening when they watch my videos. Most of them just are confused of what is this? What is this perspective? Well, it's a dead person perspective, a person who doesn't even have to work a day in his life. That's how relaxed I am. But I still have to struggle to understand other people. I'm still holding on to, you know, the gratitude that I get to survive every day. So I have to exhaust myself. I actually have to exhaust myself, and it's a positive experience. I can't say it's gold to be exhausted or have exhaustion, but exhausting yourself is task completed. Well done. Now find a way to rest. That's what you kind of have to say to yourself. Congratulate, you exhausted yourself. Now you can rest. And no one is supposed to bother you. All right? And if they do, you can either drag them down or drag yourself down. All right? It depends. And right now, I would say drag yourself down, because, like, if you can find a way to survive. You grab money and drag yourself down. That is the most successful thing you can do. Go into the shadow worlds, connect with something, get resources, go back down, and just keep going up and down if you can do that. Just grab resources, go down. Learn the way of the shadows. Explore more about where people are working. The shadows is more like, again, generating resources and doing like the basic things where you're kind of like a faceless person. Like, no one really cares about you, but you can sort of do whatever you want at the same time. You can be employed in any way you want. That's the whole point of shadows, right? In shadows, you can be anything as long as it earns you money or other resources, but usually money, because money can be exchanged into anything. So it's a great indication that you're actually earning something, but I prefer resources because I'm an internet person, and internet doesn't just spit you money into your face. But I also have to, respect reality as well. It's a 50-50 split. I can't just sit here constantly moaning about how my life sucks, because I have to actually live a real life just as much as I live this virtual thing, which is why I kind of already made a split by making all these bullshit episodes just to focus on expressing things to the internet while focusing on real life problems, right? I mean, I probably it's not a coincidence that yesterday, I think, we just checked Mr. Beast and how exhausting his discussion is about how he lives his life and how he just wakes up and there's only three things to focus on. It's easy to get exhausted without uh, variety. Playing the same game, uh, movies, some stuff like that, right? The same type of media. You just do the same thing, like scrolling through TikTok. At some point, you're gonna get exhausted because you searching for cool things when cool things are supposed to be new and unexplored in the same places. All right, so that's another thing. Don't search for cool things in the same places with same perspective. You can change your perspective, you can gain more experience, you can take a break, most importantly. And it gets very exhausting when you get into a routine of doing something. Then it becomes like uh less inspired material because you want to be like fully motivated into doing something. You can do things really fast if you're willing to actually do them, if you feel like it, right? Right now, more and more, I'm the way I'm gaining my energy back is first of all, I woke up and I have to wait a little bit to gain my energy back. So I'm being patient about it, but I'm also like exploring a topic that I truly need to explore. I am doing a thing that I need to do. This is what true meditation is about. It's allowing you to wonder, ask questions, be loud, record things, and allow other people to step in. You know, this is why meditation often looks like a person in a somewhat public space, just sitting, observing, thinking, whatever, right? In public space where you can be approached, when you're sort of allowing other people to socialize with you, but meditation takes place for the most of the time because people don't want to approach each other anymore. They're not curious enough anymore because they think their life is completely fine and other people don't want to be bothered, right? Which is very annoying that this is like the common ideology of people that I don't want to be bothered right now, which is at some point it can turn against us and become this antisocial behavior that gets out of control, which is probably inevitable when the apocalypse is happening. No one is going to turn that around because you can just feel the future. You can feel that there's a pattern of some kind that is very easy to read. Every 2 years, a new stupid thing is going to develop and not going to move away, even though the expectation it's just going to last 2 weeks. The COVID's going to last 2 weeks. Russian invasion is going to just take over Ukraine in 2 weeks. Easy, right? No. There's going to be resistance. There's going to be confusion. And new strains and new ideas are going to pop out of the same thing, which we thought is going to be explored in 2 weeks and just going to move away like everything else moves away. But that's the weird fashion of the apocalypse. Apocalypse doesn't want to be easily resolved because it just can't be. You know, someone is going to create a new idea. Vaccine. Oh my God, a new idea. Do we have to vaccinate? Oh my God, what do we do? Old people are dying. Oh my God, why are they dying? Is there suffocation of some kind of... What is COVID doing basically to people? Oh my God, we have to explore that. What are the death rates of old people versus young people? Oh my God, let's explore that. And so for as long as it took, I was working intensely I was observing intensely what was going on. The Russia thing is also pretty intense. Since the moment it started, I'm just like, okay, this is crazy. Now there's going to be inflation. There's going to be all sorts of stories of things and like trying to piece together like where it's all coming from. Who's at fault? Because people can just blame Russia for everything now. And it's like crazy, right? All of a sudden, we cannot resolve this. But I don't want to, jump into this. Apocalypse is again, it's just another thing that now that is stacked all together and has its own definition, and it looks like it's gonna last a little bit until people give up and realize that they're dealing with bullshit. There's just different shades of bullshit around them that they can defeat. But we have to understand how world truly works. What is the truly positive way to live? Yeah. So as I picked up the topic of exhaustion, again, exhaustion is great. As I've said, it's a task completed. And you should allow it and enjoy it once you get it. What you should not do is tell yourself, but I have to do this and that and this for those because reasons, right? Unfortunately, that's what's gonna just destroy your life. If you don't find a way to rest and get upset on the people who fucking don't let you rest, who poke you with a stick as if you're not supposed to be doing that. I need to recover my energy, and the best way to do it is now, to the max. Just focus on that right now. I feel like recovering energy, bro. So if you don't fucking like that, step aside, bro. Just step aside. Because, you might have a way to go down. Like, school could be a shadow realm, I would imagine. Because you have to go from the dead space into the school and go back. And still, you have to grab as much resources as possible from school. But, even if you fail school, you will not fail life, right? Even if you fail school, you don't fail life. Meaning that you can do whatever the fuck you want and you just forgot about it. Don't forget how free you truly are. And why there's so many different people in school and they can do their own things and they can bother you sometimes or not bother you at all. They have plenty of choices to just ignore you sometimes. I don't know. But that's the way it goes. So you have to master what resources you truly need from school and how to pull them in. If you're completely sober, you're gonna do a pretty good job, right? Well, again, I still failed the UK experience, but in UK experience, maybe I didn't have to drag money into equation. I just worked. I explored factories. I was with my dad. I was with my dad's friends. I enjoy some time with like people and seeing how they work together and what kind of like weird things they do sometimes, because that shit is shady. But we are in the shadows, so everything is allowed technically. What else am I supposed to do, right? So there's layers and layers of shades and confusion, I would say. It's very difficult to get your foot down and start feeling comfortable in any situation. No matter what you do, like, you can still be weird as a person, and you should be weird at the start of your career until you get comfortable with things. So don't rush yourself, If you're not comfortable, you will get exhausted faster. So it's completely understandable, at the very least, that if you're in a new environment, you're learning new things, you're gonna get exhausted faster, and you have to like appreciate that feeling. Let's add a sparkling heart. Let's see what Taylor Swift has to offer in terms of exhaustion. In fact, she kind of has like this documentary thing, or at least saying about her diet, how she feels exhausted after not feeding herself properly. So Taylor already spoke about health, being healthy, and not a stick man. Stick man. There you go. Task man and not a stick man. All right. Taylor Swift is written like this, and not like this, not backwards. All right, you must understand. To be healthy, like the first thing to think about basically is food. You should start with food because that's where energy comes from, you know. So if you want more energy, just feed yourself, get some rest, get a little bit of exercise, move around, check what is entertaining for you while you're sort of in a sleep state, in an exercise state. What is entertaining for you to just keep the routine going until you get bored of that and you want to do something more intense, right? So in a way, I have to like force myself to get bored. All right. I have to bore myself with food plus exercise plus entertainment, right? I choose to do intense things all the time. Sitting down and making a video is pretty intense. But I still need a whole variety of things at the same time. Oh yeah, plus rest. This is kind of like the way to energize yourself fully, right? Why is entertainment energizing? It's consumption of materials, of social materials that you can use in the future to express yourself. But as you're consuming, you're sort of energizing yourself as long as all of these are also stacked properly. And then you're just not just filling up one thing. If you just feed yourself too much, you're just going to be a fat person that barely moves. Like, you have to do all of these things in combination to be able to have a balance. So these are the things that will balance your energy. Congratulations, Taylor. You nailed it again. We can always trust Taylor to show up. Holy shit. It's the best roommate I have ever had. Room 33, am I right? Now, when I say exercise, or none of these things are supposed to be like intense. So, none of the energizers supposed to be intense. There's no like intense eating. You just have some food laying around. You make some food, like you make some soup. I don't know, some sandwiches. That's what I do. And if you feel like doing more, then you just do more. And you just bounce around until you bore yourself and you want to do you truly want to do something, right? For me, I have so much motivation to do something. I just trick myself into like, I will be doing this forever. No one's gonna stop me. I will do this every day. But it's now I feel exhausted, unfortunately. Now it's a little bit too much for me, I'm not gonna lie. Especially, you know, feedback helps. Feedback's like keeps you going. And when my YouTube channel is giving me 16 views for all these videos, this one is getting a 1 view. Congratulations, you did a very good job. Like, I feel ripped off right now. I feel fucking scammed. And that's a really exhausting feeling. Holy shit. There's some, like, negative feelings that just will destroy your life. When you're just confused and feel ripped off. Imagine getting blocked from Discord channel, like I often am, because I'm a bad boy, and I don't really care if someone has more power than I do, because that's not true. Alright? You're not gonna defeat me unless you press that button. So I tempt people to fucking press that button, despite not breaking any real rules, just being very intense. And, you know, people can't keep up with that because they barely can just do that to not feel exhausted. They have to, like, constantly be a consumer. And then just go to work and get some money. I don't have to do that shit. I can actually do better things with my life. And I don't always feel exhausted either. So I don't just get consumed by entertainment like that guy who's talking to me and playing games. And I see him play a different game every now and then. So he's just bouncing around. For me, it just looks exhausting as well. And again, I hate being ripped off. I hate being scammed. It's a terrible feeling, but I have to be able to, like, bounce off of that and not get consumed, because, like, this is also really awful. And, like, you can probably sense the problem that he's gonna have, right? He wants to do all these cool things, but he's consumed by entertainment. So what's gonna happen? Hey. Hello, are you sure you're gonna do something? I mean, are you sure you're gonna make any progress if you're just consumed by your friends and entertainment? Because, like, friends can definitely be a bad influence, forcing you to do stupid things. Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to double check that thing. Definitely, it's scary to not have friends, but you gotta relax most of the stuff. All right, relax, take it easy. Am I right? Let's fucking listen to that stupid song, Mika Relax. I do have it in my playlist, not in Peace Pop, but in general. I am very familiar with this. That's why it's playing in my stupid head, bro. Okay, remix then. You must understand, like, it's a self-fulfilling nonsense. If you attack other people just because you're exhausted, it's your fault, you know? You have to find a way to attack people when you have a ridiculous amount of energy to destroy them, basically. Alright? At some point, you're allowed to be exhausted after, like, having a conversation, after trying. You're allowed to throw any feeling because, like, fuck you, am I right? Well, fuck you. You just have to... But it's still best to organize things, so only when you have a lot of energy you can project yourself of how you truly feel as a person. You can project your clean version of yourself and not exhausted version, because that's just gonna make things worse, right? You're now projecting a person that you don't want to be, I hope. You don't want to be seen as an exhausted person, because the way people will perceive you is gonna, you know, tinker with your ability to be something else. You know, people's expectations are... Yeah. are gonna be set in place, and it's very difficult to break that. Uh, you just do the same thing sometimes. You just keep the same vibe, the exhaustive, like low effort vibe. That's what they will expect from you, and you're just gonna deliver that much energy, right? But if you just fucking destroy them, then you will feel like a winner at least. You will feel like you have put effort and not just whined about how you feel or some bullshit like that. Like, too often, I just hear about other people's feelings about my work or what I say to them or whatever. Harvesting is also work. Poking people is also work. Making sure they're not dead yet. You know, Jesus Christ. It's getting harder and harder, to be honest, to see them alive. So, it's great. It's great. Ugh. I just felt a spike in my heart. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I haven't taken it easy yet. And that's my punishment. But that was random, bro. Like, imagine being surrounded by people who seem negative. Like, what? That is, again, very exhausting. You have to try and focus on the positive things more. And it's gonna light up the way a lot easier. You know, life is also about breathing the positive and not negative. Of the positive and not negative. You try to avoid the negative because it's also going to take too much energy. And as I've discussed in the previous video, it's going to take a lot of speed. If you're exhausted, you can't go fast, right? It's technically speed level 3 video, to be honest. But it's slightly different. Slightly different. Like, how do you appreciate exhaustion? How do you deal with it after you have went through a race? You went all the way in. It's literally, you know, September 1st is the speed episode. This is September 2nd is exhaustion episode. How cool is that? Like, in one day, I'm just pumping out videos endlessly, bro. It's just messed up, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. I have made 400 somethings. There's 400 files here. And in 2022, I have 300 files. I still haven't completed 2024. 2023, if you might notice, we still have 4 months. So I'm pumping out content like crazy, non-stop. This is technically the maximum amount of content I can possibly make, right? Well, but it's not the maximum content that I can have ownership of. You know, co-ownership or something. Like, I could have friends and I would feel like we're together making content and it just feeds the same piece. The same crown, basically. The YouTube CEO crown. I would want to feel that way too. You know, that we're all together making progress. I'm just like making thumbnails for them, maybe. That would be cool. If the only thing I have to do is just make thumbnails, like, maybe that would be my work as YouTube CEO. Maybe as YouTube CEO, I'll just be making thumbnails for people I love, right? And you would see my signature moves and all that stuff of what I tend to do in thumbnails, and just the master of thumbnails. For people who are confused of like, how do I present myself on YouTube? Present yourself with the greatest self-esteem possible of allowing YouTube CEO to make your thumbnail and promote your video as well. That would be pretty fucking fascinating, and it would relieve a lot of people of like, but how do I present my video? Oh, let me do it, okay? No problem. I can do it for you. At the same time, I could just split my videos into multiple videos as well. Or someone else could just do the editing, right? But that would be stupid because I don't do the editing and it doesn't take much work to just upload. So I don't know how I can make it more efficient to myself. But as I've said, other people can contribute to my, empire of uploads and thumbnails. Because apparently that's the number that I care about. I don't know, I just explore that. Now, to move forward, we have to take a break and actually see how it works. So we put a lot of things down. We have to put them into practice now as well. Into a test grounds of understanding. A little bit deeper based on experience now. Just I'm gonna focus, I'm gonna try and relax. See how effective it is. Alright. Funny thing is, I had a dream about a school teacher bothering me and making me very angry. And in a dream, you can sort of do anything you want as long as you figure out that you're in a dream. Otherwise, you feel like pressure of like, if I punch this person, police will still show up and those people are gonna fucking destroy my life. So maybe I shouldn't do that. But as the dream was fading away, I'm like, oh, I'm in a dream. I need to punch the teacher. Destroy. No, it just faded away. Yeah, she was like, oh, give me those 3 answers to the questions that I've asked. Oh, you think you're a titan. That's the definition of a titan. Oh, fuck you. I don't know, man. Some teacher in a dream showed up and tried to take away my cool, making me think that we live in a cool war zone, meaning that if you get angry, you lose, basically. That's the whole fucking game. But, I mean, on one hand, I'll tell you that much. Maybe it's a social game, I don't know. It's a normie game, I would say. It's probably a current normie game. Whoever loses to anger loses this game. Right? Anger and becomes hostile. It becomes hostile. Quits, right? That sort of thing. Rage quits. You have to be able to basically have comebacks to win this game. What does that look like? A comeback, bro? Because while you're receiving information, you also have to generate a comeback just to bounce that shit off. For me, my comeback, I will get angry. What you gonna fucking do about it? You think I'm a loser? Huh? You think that will lose me the game? You think I'm not keeping my cool while I beat you the fuck up? You think I'm still not cool? I can break the rules and still be cool. Just you wait. I can rage quit and come back swinging, bro. Don't worry about it. I will break people's expectations when it comes to rules because I'm the edgelord in a way. I can break the rule without breaking the rule. I can be angry without being angry. I can beat you up without getting angry. I can beat you up without being hostile even. Like, I can just ask you, you want to be beaten up? And convince them that they do want to be beaten up. And once we figure out that we're in a dream, like, bad things will gonna happen to you, my friend. The teacher was lucky. I figured out the last minute I was in a dream. The last fucking minute. But now I'll be more careful with that. If someone pisses me off, I'm like, are we in a dream? We have to double check, right? Let's always double check. Because that's the only way I can solve this problem anymore. It's not like we're playing a fucking actual game. It's not like we have constant conversations with each other. People always lose their cool, and I just leave. You know, I just step one step back, and I'm like, okay, I'm winning now. Now let's work with less pressure. You know, that's what you're trying. Well, technically, you don't take a step back. You maybe take a step forward. But if a person is hostile, you can take a step back, right? If a person is hostile, you do this. If you're winning, you do this and establish your dominance. Now, if a person is hostile, you just allow them to just take all this empty space. They really wanted it. You know, wow, what I'm so evil. I will have so much space now. And then when you have maximized their efforts, you just cut it off of like, well, you win, you know. They probably are thinking of like, oh shit, you will never leave them and you will never give up. You will always fight them, but you will always lose because they have decided the rules, they have decided what they want from you, all these things. They're just deciding your destiny, basically. I've been dealing with a person like that, and honestly, it's a relief to cut them off eventually. You know, I've had to deal with a person who just wants to steal my space. Like, it's ridiculous. They want to steal my space. They do any sort of cheaty tactics to waste it, you know, to waste the conversation, to make it as unpleasant as possible, while they themselves, you know, marinate in pleasures of some kind, thinking that they're winning and that that's their only goal basically in life. And you just cut it off, you know. You win, okay, you really wanted that space. You think you're a genius, basically. That's usually what happens with discords as well. Someone holds the power, someone thinks that you're just a fucking toy, basically, to them. And it's really devastating that most, it's the Discord mod nonsense. Discord mod is now a swear word of evil people toying with you. You know, like, that's the dumbest thing ever. But I will make you a Discord mod, but then I kick the shit out of you, and then make you a piece of shit in the end. Like, make you lose reputation instantly. The moment you do something stupid, I'll make you a Discord mod, no problem. We're gonna allow you to do that. Just kidding, I probably wouldn't be able to do that because I don't trust a single fucking person to do anything properly. And it's not exciting, I know. Not being able to trust anyone is not exciting at all. But that's my life. I just can't, I'm just smarter. I can do things myself, don't worry about it. You can just report whoever needs what, right? And I'll just deliver to them. I can do that. I can deliver advice, I can deliver action, I can talk to people, I can make them feel better. I can do all these things, and the only thing you have to do is just, you know, ripple effects, amplify the ripple effects that's already there. You can learn from it, you can replicate it, you can pretend that you're just like me, and you're doing all these things, and I will just respect that. You're going to be Discord mod as long as you pretend to be and not ask me to be, to make you, you know. It's best to pretend to be something than ask to be made into something. This is why I am YouTube CEO, I just don't receive money. it's a pretentious move, but like it's working flawlessly. It's the best thing I've ever chose to do, bro. I just pretend, and it's working. My fantasy world is still growing very rapidly because there's a lot of positivity here and not much positivity in any of these other levels. All right. I've eliminated that. I even tried. I tried to climb stairs a little bit, and I didn't fucking find anything positive. You know, all of a sudden the script was flipped against me, and I felt like it was a horrifying experience, despite someone being calm, but the people and the twists have just completely threw me off of my expectations and hopes and dreams. When I had a workplace, I just lose that connection with the workplace for some stupid reason. I can tell you, like, I lost it because of my phone not delivering me messages. Who knows what that means? I lost it because the management has changed and doesn't look at me as a valuable asset anymore. Because now I'm just a stranger, even though I worked in the workplace for 1.5 years, and I'm very comfortable with it. But if someone doesn't like me, they can just throw me away because I'm still a new person for them. At some point, I was just like going out of control because I was just exhausted. In fact, of just losing so many jobs, and my world just wasn't able to deal with the world the same way anymore. So I'm like, I'm signing up for this new job, but like I'm scared that this is just not gonna work anyways. And eventually, my mind still just finds ways to like, but even just screw everything up. But who knows? Maybe I just felt the correct things, and other people could have helped me out, and nobody really tried to. Socializing is very difficult, especially when the only thing you see people do is just smoke cigarettes and talk about nothing. I mean, like, for fuck's sake. I was always a loner, and it pissed me off because of how much effort you have to put in just to inject yourself into a social circle of some kind. Like, you're not going to be invited. If you're not invited to a social circle, injecting yourself is torture, basically. Just because you're gonna be rejected. Don't worry about it. Injection, rejection, boys. Exjection. It's very, very difficult. So I never picked up on these social skills because, like, they're just torture, dude. Like, if you fail, it's insane. The reason why it's torture is not your fault. It's just people are just genuinely evil and don't want you around. They just want to have the social circle and mock you from that position of like attack you. Oh, you're a loner. Oh, you want to be a part of us. Well, if you have absolutely nothing to contribute, loser, except for trying to inject yourself, that's a contribution we're gonna absolutely take. And try and tease you, basically, so it lasts as long as possible, because it's torture. Like, if you're not invited, it indicates that the social circle is just a toxic circle, a toxicity circle. And you're lucky that you're not in it, that you're not suffering from it. And you have to deal with people who want to have conversations with you about nothing of importance. Those are actually difficult conversations even for me to have. Like, I can't do that. All right? It's so exhausting to try and have conversation to a person about nothing. I'm trying to make jokes. I'm trying to fucking exist. and it's just it's not really working. It doesn't seem to give me feedback that I want. So it just fell off of that as well. Even at school times at all these fucking weird places, it's just not working out. It seems like, because people have their own expectations, and I just want positivity, bro. I just want things to go smoothly and understand how to do things in the first place. So I also need like a tutorial. Of course I can sort of grapple my way into a higher level, but it just is done with more effort and experience, right? If I had enough effort and experience, I would be able to defeat bad guys. But it doesn't guarantee that, you know, I'm not gonna get kicked out. All right, I defeat one bad guy and I get kicked out of the fucking workplace. Like, is that progress? Yes, because I improved my power level, but people don't appreciate if you disrupt things, right? For your own sake. And defeat is very difficult in a way, like a long-term defeat. So you try to gain a short-term defeat. So people give you respect the way you fucking deserve it. Just for the sake of, like, they don't understand you, you don't understand them. You just have to, like, try and keep up and hope that negativity is not the only thing you're gonna get, because that's just unfair, you know. And we already said, what is the way to lose the game? Right? Remember how people lose the game and remind them that they are losing it, you know? And you don't even have to play, all right? But there's a social game, social status that you're not supposed to lose. You're not supposed to lose your cool and become upset and angry and bitter and all that shit, because that's the most negative thing. If you cool down, like, everything is processing as it should, right? There's factories working and producing goods. They just have to be organized and put into the right place. You sometimes have to take it yourself, go outside to take it yourself from shops, or, you know, you have to earn money somehow. I don't know. I don't know how you keep you cool when there's a lot of problems, but we have to discuss it in a way that helps as many people as possible, and we cannot discuss it if we're overwhelmed with emotions or underwhelmed with emotions. We can't keep our cool if we're frozen, right? We're frozen if we're fucking acting like NPCs or robots who don't want to actually deal with problems anymore. So yeah, I feel the progress, right? I feel like the things in the past are like pushing me forward, because I'm just very grateful for the experience, and I still feel connected to the shadow world as well. I wasn't able to reach the normie worlds, I don't think. I mean, sometimes you get there. But was I ever in a party? Only like one time, school after party. That's the only time. It seems like there's a lot of parties that I was in, but it's not like I was invited, someone else just dragged me in there, I would assume. So yeah, it's when it comes to normie stuff, like, that's even more intense, and people actually reach that level too, and it's quite impressive if you get to see that. But at the same time, how real is that? You try and poke it, you try to get connected with that, and ask a simple question of how real is that, and mostly it's projected by women, right? You know, almost like women do everything backwards. They become the most popular people in your life, at least, and then they become normal, and they slowly basically descend all the way down. Oh, oops. What, everything is backwards for women?
That's fascinating. Yeah, I'm sure we need feminism to help women even more than they already are helped. Like you just find an older man to take care of you, and all of a sudden you find yourself a sugar dad, and you don't even have to put much effort anymore. Holy shit, right? And at the same, I'm not saying like what women do is an easy job. It's not. It's just a vibe that is like it's overly simple for them to get to that high level of they just have to do all the right things, but they don't have the brain for it, so they constantly lose the game, and you can feel that them losing basically. You can observe that very easily, I would say, if they're losing their reputation quickly because they're just doing all the wrong things. And it's just almost impossible for women to actually like succeed for long periods of time. It's almost impossible. Uh, like even in celebrity world, like you can see a lot of exhausted celebrities. Even in my Powerpuff Power team, like three, the only person that's not exhausted as a fire person is a fucking Taylor Swift, bro. Everyone else is just destroyed. Maybe Taylor Swift just did everything the opposite way and or is very pretentious. You know, the moment she would click Taylor Swift, she would just collapse into a pile of dust, you know, and we're gonna work from there. We just we just push the button and Taylor Swift just collapses and disappears in a way, or just falls asleep for a month or something like that. Who knows? This is why I try triangulate things and I look for four things because it's the most stable thing. Knowing that all the other three people have collapsed in terms of energy, like you would expect the fourth one to also be somewhat on the edge of a cliff constantly, dangling around. So you can't just make such perfect decisions where you have solved the problem 100%, while other people have to struggle solving it somehow. So it's a mystery all of a sudden. You cannot possibly solve a problem when it's still a mystery for most people. Uh, it is what it is. So let's keep going. More points. But it's not exactly true, you know. Successful people will always be elevated above the rest. There's a lot of women that you don't get to see that are not successful, and they don't want to talk to you about it. You know, you're not going to force them to exist at all. They're just very much manifesting that stupid shadowy essence. Like you can see them walking around potentially, you can sort of approach them and force them to interact with you, but in the normal conditions, those shadow people, they don't work with you, so they're gonna be exhausted or contempt with what they have. Right? Exhaustion is also inability to socialize when you are asked to do so, right? And if you're constantly exhausted, you have to go one level down. And when you're in dead space and you're exhausted, that's a big question mark. How is that possible? You know, you're almost like being taken care of in a way. Like I get a flow of money. I'm not deep in dead space where I'm just completely unreachable. You know, I'm in a proper position where I can just move around. I'm just like very comfortable here. I need very minimal amount of resources. I even made a joke that people's pets cost more money than it cost me to stay alive, right? And I'm like, that's a pretty happy thought, but at the same time, like, a lot of people are just pathetic. Even in the age of inflation, they're spending more money on their pets than on other people. You know, I want to see that. Like, I've heard from TikTok that thing, right? But that other people spend more time on their pets than friends, right? Just make friends. You don't need pets. This is when you start with friends, don't you? And you spend money on them, on taking care of them, basically, on buying them things that they might need. You should be able to do that. So there's just pet apocalypse. A petcalypse. Absolutely. Like, we don't need that much entertainment, do we? We don't need that much responsibility. And people are overwhelmed with all this stuff to do. But they're not being productive enough to be able to be helpful to each other. So there's not a lot of positivity to go around. Everyone just content in their little bubble, creating their own things, not being able to share that with anyone. And luckily we have invented cell phones and cameras and TikTok, and we can at least take a look around how people live and double check our notes. Obviously only the rich people will want to show themselves off. And again, that's what creates a contrast of sort of a lie. A lie that's in social media. It's a lot more difficult to lie if you are forced to talk about yourself, to express who you truly are as a person, no matter what your financial situation is. I would like to see more poor people in social media telling their stories. It's very difficult because often enough you're just not going to get the feedback you need to keep going and fully analyze your story. I forced myself to do it. I, above all odds, was able to break through this curse of a poor person not being able to socialize in the internet. You know, I broke the spell, but I'm still struggling, and it's overwhelming. Like, I worked so long just to break this one stupid fucking curse. You know, to break this curse, you can see how long it took me. All right. So also, in the topic of exhaustion, it's important to know what your main goal is. And we just found that too. Naturally. My brain started working. My brain just lit up. It takes time to pick up speed. But once you start working, exhaustion can fade away. Can sort of fade away and can sort of put itself back into a corner and observe you of like, what the fuck are you doing? I thought you're gonna be fucking sleeping and doing nothing. How do you have so much motivation to just destroy yourself for the sake of YouTube video? Like, are you serious, bro? Okay, I'm a step aside right now, but exhaustion is gonna hit you very hard the moment you stop your YouTube video nonsense. All right. We'll see about that. So I'm playing 9-dimensional chess against myself, you know, and my brain. The exhaustion is not gonna catch up to me because I will do things that I really like. And you'll just have to respect that, Mr. Exhaustion. Yes, I turn exhaustion into a creature inside me and tell it to stop. That's a very extreme way to put it. I'm not gonna lie. It's very extreme. But it is about giving up sometimes. Runner's high is about not giving up to the point where pain can't stop you. And pain gives up faster than you give up. Fuck it, body's just like, I'll fuck you up later, bro. If you really want to do the runner's high thing, fucking go do it. This is why I have to stop this video, because I'm a little bit too happy of like, the runner's high is also about like achieving happiness of like, wow, I actually pushed myself through and I can do this. But you also have to be, you understand, runner's high is dangerous. Don't fool yourself that you have too much energy when you haven't had energy like 1 hour ago. You rewind 2 hours ago, I was exhausted. I was worrying of how this video is gonna go. Obviously, acceleration, all that stuff is wonderful, but like I still have to take a pause and assess myself, because like when you're addicted to something, when you're just running constantly and you're not taking a break, take a break and see what happens, right? Your body just might collapse. Yeah, this is all these observations, bro. We're running. It's exciting, absolutely, and you want to finish the whole thing, and your heart is like, I'm completing tasks, though. Don't fucking piss me off, right? In other words, your heart can enable you to do things you didn't thought were possible, because your heart was not enabled. But in order to enable your heart, you have to do things and achieve things that just keep you going. Of like, you actually like a Pac-Man eating energy tokens for achieving things, and your heart works even faster if there's ghosts around. So almost like a Pac-Man is almost a representation of where to get infinite energy. You just eat things, yum, yum, and run away from ghosts. That's it. Maximum energy achieved, bro. Holy shit. And you get so fucking crazy about it, you eat even bigger thing, and then you start eating ghosts themselves, and you get even more energy. How do you get even more? I want to play Pac-Man now, bro. I want to eat some ghosts. That's a sentence you should say every day, bro, when you wake up. Let's eat some ghosts. Alright, guys, so I will leave myself with 30 minutes. We're gonna fill up that time with something interesting, but I have to observe myself after I take a break, because, it's very easy to tell yourself that you're succeeding because you're doing all these combos, all these backflips, but at some point you will have to stop, and you have to double check how you feel. And I will crash, and I will die inside, and I will look into a subscription box of all these videos I have to watch and stuff. Fuck me, bro. I didn't even finish the fucking song, bro. Like, you get so excited, but like, you can't do so many things when you're excited at the same time. What if I relax? I will die now. Yeah, that's not looking good. Right, like, if you disappointed, and again it fills up with negativity, it really weighs you down. I can't help it. And you always need to like find resources. Like, if you're exhausted and you're truly like upset about it, you have to work on it, right? It's the most obvious thing. Truly upsets you have to make it your focus. Because seemingly you're doing something wrong, clearly. Gotta figure out what it is. Gotta try different things. I'm okay with how my life goes. Like, if I can upload videos in this frequency, nothing bad is happening. And I shouldn't expect bad things to happen in the first place. Not anymore. And exhaustion is something I do feel, and it's normal. It's a little bit weird because, you know, my sleeping pattern is random, but that's a good thing. So there's honestly like nothing to complain about. Just because my mood is swinging around, I have to just, you know, respond properly. It's not like I do actually like feel disturbing, right? But it is so weird. It's so weird to like be disconnected and keep looking for answers. That is exhausting. Like, imagine trying to find society and social connections, and ranting like hour after hour. All these videos are kind of just, you know, the work that other people haven't properly done, because I'm not satisfied. I'm not content with what is out there and how people behave.
Aging.
This is what I get from YouTube, some kind of fucking weird weird TV clip from a long time ago. It's still high I cannot recreate that by all means. I enjoy stuff that's overwhelming, but I mean, is it really gonna do it in 2 minutes? Yeah, it definitely wakes me up, man. All these women fucking like, look at all these achievements, look at what I do. I wrote a book. Oh my god. I'm tired of people being tired and saying that it's normal. So yeah, I mean, the solutions are pretty simple, and let's check it out, guys.
Just the natural process of aging. There's always an answer for an energy crisis. She says, number 1, have your doctor check your thyroid.
I can definitely do that. All right, that's pretty easy.
Thyroid controls many other hormones. It is the god hormone of your body.
Number 2, make sure you don't have an iodine deficiency,
All right, that one's easy. That one's pretty fucking easy.
which is a major source of fatigue.
The FDA has made recent changes so that we no longer are required to have iodine in our salt.
The doc says you can test at home. Buy some liquid potassium iodine, put it on your belly about 2 inches wide. If the stain is still there after 4 to 6 hours, you'll...
See, that's fucking easy. Here you go. That's how you deal with exhaustion. Is, I mean, it's the easiest thing I've ever fucking seen. It's like the first video YouTube has promoted, and it's very helpful in order to find out how fucking delusional the world was back in the day, selling all kinds of products and selling hospitalization. Hey, feeling fatigue? Talk to your doctor. Talk to your nearest doctor. Give us money, by the way.
You're okay. If it absorbed, you may be iodine deficient. Now, number 3, change your diet. Start by adding protein to breakfast.
Add protein. Oh my god. Start by adding protein. Just eat more food. You know.
After about 2 weeks, you won't believe that you were that exhausted person in the morning.
I'm exhausted watching this 3-minute video of how fucking disgusting it is. Holy shit. What did she say, by the way?
Protein to breakfast.
After about 2 weeks, you won't believe that you were that exhausted person in the morning.
Also, small...
What? 2 weeks of what? More protein? Excuse me.
All snacks every 3 to 4 hours. Don't eat after 7 p.m. so you can fall asleep peacefully. Number 4, clean that gut out. Cut down on acidic products like coffee. And no more diet soda or products with aspartame.
It causes inflammation, it causes weight gain, it causes fatigue.
I mean, any drinks that make no fucking sense should be cut off, obviously. I just drink milk and water, bro. And sometimes, cocoa powder, you know. That's my favorite drink. And I honestly don't need anything else, and anything else is expensive. So you know there's a lot of shit in there if it's expensive. And you don't need it, basically.
Get rid of it.
Also, get sleep. 6 to 8 hours a
Oh, I forgot about that. My goodness. If you can, but if you can, just take fucking 2 hours. Take.
you can. And when you're not sleeping,
I have a feeling this was Jimmy Fallon, by the way. He took an opportunity to sleep at some point.
tip number 5. Let's talk about sex.
Oh my god, I didn't talk about sex. Holy shit, that's how you do it.
Sex is a source of energy.
She says it's all
It's a source of energy, bro. Holy shit. Motivations are a source of energy. Excitement is a source of energy. Why the fuck they complicating things that would make more sense if you didn't said it like that? But that's how fucking women talk. Like, women fucking have a language of monkeys or something. Holy shit.
in the science. Circulation, oxygen to the body, stimulating endorphins.
Look at this shit. Circulation. Oxygen to the body. Where else would oxygen go? Out of your body, bro. What the fuck? Holy shit. Put some oxygen to the body. Oh, you get oxygen as a woman to the body. You know from where? This is hilarious, bro. Stimulating endorphins, because you know what endorphins are, of course. All these endorphins.
And timing is everything.
The best time of the day is in the morning when all those hormones are at its peak. And
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It's absolutely true. Like, someone has to wake you up. Someone has to stab you.
you'll feel wonderful.
Dana Asher says she's proof all of this works.
I'm able to do a million things in a day, feel great, have a sex life, have a life with my children, have a soul.
You have a sex life? Holy shit, bro. I am so proud of you.
Social life.
So long to the F word, so long fatigue.
I want to be,
Fucking F word, bro. Get out of here, F word.
happily exhausted for a really, really long time.
This is some legendary bullshit in the face. Now that's gonna wake you up, bro. Just autoplay this commercial. Holy shit, that's gonna wake you up. Please turn it off, man. I'm receiving brain damage. Holy shit. Anyone would play this commercial outside of your home, you're just like, fuck, I have enough energy to beat up one person. And that is pretty fucking powerful. Holy shit. Alright, psycho. Emotional exhaustion. Well, I don't give a fuck about your emotional exhaustion. Stupid psycho. Psycho ghost. Psy-G. Psy. I don't know. Gangnam style. Gangnam Psy. Alright. Oh, it's energy vampires. Look, this is insane, bro. I'm exhausted just like looking at all the possibilities, dude. Holy shit. Of the stupidity of people. I mean, I'm sorry, guys. So, and now you know why I don't like what other people have to offer. Like, that's not, doesn't seem like the coolest thing ever. Again, now that we have ability to contribute in like a short wave, like, it took a lot of effort to contribute to television. And television would just, you know, have a lot of layers of bullshit that you have to go through. So your the information gets warped and stupefied, absolutely. Now it takes very little to make a YouTube video, but it still takes a lot to actually reach an audience for your YouTube video. Alright, so potentially you're still gonna get warped with your layers and layers of information, trying to reach to people and teach them something. And it's still gonna leave an impact if you teach them a small tiny thing. Also, this guy said he wants to talk to me about something and just doesn't have anything to talk with me about. He just... I can't believe, but every single time I talk to someone, it feels like I'm talking to the king of something, some kind of country, the king of some kind. They have so much ego. It's like, you can talk with me about something. All right, please try and talk to me right now. Like, that's the feeling. Like, what the and everyone is just the most disturbing person ever. Their egos are inflated to infinity and beyond, into outer space. I have never seen anything like that in real life, but on the internet you get to see it up close and personal. The delusion is... So yeah, other people can be really exhausting because of how egoistic they are, just full of themselves. They only want to think about themselves and all their... to make themselves feel good, right? If you offend them, you made the greatest crime of all time. If you hurt their fifis, I'm sorry, bro, you will be punished. With nothing, they're just gonna leave because they have no idea how to defeat you anymore. Like, you just crush their spirits. But they will threaten you and throw everything they can just to try and, take their revenge, because they want to feel that you feel just as bad as they do. How am I supposed to feel as bad as you do when my ego is like this? You don't even observe my ego. You haven't even seen me. And your ego was like this, and it went like this now. All right, it shrunk like this. It probably took so much space previously that you can make a bubble like this and just completely engulf me with that ego. Like, I'm sorry, bro. So you will never see me suffer. All right, I can't shrink myself down for you, for your pleasure, so you would even see the difference. But yeah, I try to do that, and people don't seem to see the difference. They don't seem to understand what respect is. So what the fuck's the point? A lot of conversations are just trying to interact with people is exhausting, because most of the stuff they don't understand what you're doing. So you do have to just benefit yourself. Benefiting yourself is way easier than pleasing other people, especially giants of the world. The giants. Let me please you. Let me give you a cookie of like, oh, that's kind of fucking pathetic. You're a piece of shit, basically, for doing that thing and for trying to contribute. Are you stupid, bro? Like, even children have egos. Like, I could have never guessed that they have, but they have to have it because they will grow up to be, homeless people. I don't see a bright future, guys. I have to put them in a straight direction into being a homeless person, because you will not be able to afford a home anyways. So that's good for you, my friends. Unless you live with your parents and you just wait mortgage, so you don't even own your fucking homes anymore. Bye-bye. Also, it's exhausting to be a slave and pay mortgage or a rent. One of those things. That will make you poor. We don't have to pay it. We own this place. So, if something like that is possible, then you should seek possibilities somewhere else. If you feel exhausted that you're slowly discovering slavery exists, and that you can't actually pay any of these things, you have to find a way to escape and, occupy space. And be friends with an old person, because they will have space open for you. Eventually, just be friends with people. Talk to them. See what what their needs are, because old people always have needs. All right, you can help them out with tons of stuff. Absolutely, they're exhausted all the time. Like, if you're exhausted, you know, you can help old people. You know, you know, old people are dealing with a lot more shit than you do. So, if you wanted to escape slavery, this is probably the way to do it. But you have to find courage to talk to a person that has no ability to talk to anyone else but their own age group, which is why old people talk to old people. How crazy is that, am I right? Two old women try to talk to me, which is fascinating. I'm glad they are connected to me somehow, but they just want to interact with my mom more, and it's just disgusting. It's just like, well, you had an opportunity and you blew it, because I'm a nice person. But it is what I can totally go behind old people. They're incredibly useful if you know how to do it, how to make use of them. I don't have time for this shit, all right? I'm still pretty happy being dead, all right? I'm still pretty busy in that box of cats, of dead cats, that you will never look into. Or maybe you will. Maybe they will come to life. I don't know, man. There's just a lot of meow, 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 meow in my room right now, and I'm scared. Anyways, someone has to know. Someone has to know how to... So, mental exhaustion, whatever, chronic fatigue. I mean, TED Talks always are enlightening, and it doesn't feel like a commercial. Like, these 3 minutes were so exhausting, and it felt like a commercial was in every corner. Just... This high ego and all that crap is just self-defense mechanism of some kind, and I have to break it down. I have to fully understand what kind of cheat codes they have enabled for themselves. Because, yeah, it could get out of control the moment you find a cheat code in life. You just repeat the usage of it. You know, something works and all of a sudden you just want to fucking let the whole world know how big of a fucking idiot you are. You just do that one thing, but like, I don't know what works. I honestly don't know. Like, you can be a fucking asshole and feel great about yourself, but that doesn't mean that you have made a conversation with me, though. You know, like, it didn't work out, didn't it? So I don't know what works, because it has to actually solve problems and not create problems. You know, most people with big egos, they spill all over and you have to clean. You know, that's the vibe. Most of them just don't give a fuck and you have to clean that up. You should not clean that up. You should talk to the manager of like and report these fucking people. And if they don't care, if your workplace doesn't care, you have to quit. You know, if you're just being robbed and being humiliated, you have to complain. Like, it's not a fucking freebie for people. But a lot of working class people, they get kicked in the balls for free because they have no options, right? People with high egos, they can just stomp all over you. That's also pretty fucking exhausting. You have to find a way out of a lot of traps that have been set up right now. Again, this is why I said the current system is kind of like hell, because it's just like corruption is everywhere, and apocalypse is the best thing that could have ever happened to us. Like, by all means. I didn't thought that I was predicting the apocalypse, and it started happening. Like, 5 years before COVID happened, maybe even 2 years before COVID happened, I was predicting the woman apocalypse. I just felt like women just gonna fucking drag us down and attack us. I didn't thought it was an actual apocalypse where actually bad things would happen, because I was just a fucking young adult wanting to get women to pay attention to me, and I thought it was gonna be inevitable. It is. It's still the same apocalypse. It's just like actually bad things have to happen for women to actually do the right thing as well. Because like it's great that you have a good life and other women don't have anything to offer whatsoever, even visually. And I'm like, just that's great, but where's the equality, right? Women want equality. Make sure you get that in your own community first, all right? So when you start comparing women, you realize there's no equality there whatsoever. They're not taking care of each other. They're actually competing against each other, and they want, to spill over and steal from men as well, because they always do. They benefit from men very much, if not entirely. If not 80% of their income just comes from men, just rewarding them for whatever. And I think that's pretty pathetic. But women, either women reward each other or they get rewarded by men. And I'm not talking about that's how capitalism works, of where you like get paid for work. If you do genuine work, if you genuinely help people, you should be paid after you helped people, after. But right now, the way capitalism works, the best way is to scam people and exhaust your wallet as well. Corrupted capitalism is detected by when do you pay? Do you pay before you get to products that you wanted, or after? Do you get your money back guaranteed or not? Have you used it? No. You probably scammed yourself if you didn't use it. I know I didn't use it, because you have to do all this hard work to get your money back. It's not guaranteed whatsoever, my friends. Forget about that part. You have to fucking reship it somehow. You have to transfer that big ass object that you just bought, transfer it back. Like, it's way easier to throw it away. Now it's just extra work. It's no, I'm sorry. Capitalism is pretty fucking corrupted in a way. Where like the gaming with microtransactions, as weird as it is, it's a lot more rock solid than gaming where you prepay for the product and you don't even know what you're gonna get. But luckily, YouTube steps in, and now we get to actually clear a lot of corruption, where we get to actually see the product being used in front of our eyes, in front of our pixels. All right. So we actually know what we're buying in a way, and we can get recommendations from all over the world. So this is like really powerful stuff. I'm glad we can double check most products. Everything else is a scam. If it's not tested, if people can't show how it works, what's the point, right? You're just gonna move on and do something better. You know what? I have a perfect ending to this whole story. Alright? You might find someone else who deserves to be exhausted. Alright? And fight for that. Someone else can do the job for you. Especially if they're pieces of shit, They better work very hard to be able to replace at least 5% of what you do, you know. Because, like, essential workers are being treated like shit. And people have to unionize. People have to fight back against the system. People have to embrace the purge, the spirit of the purge that is gonna be happening all over the place. Because I can feel it, you know, dripping down. Just like a leaking roof over my head. I can feel the difference of what we have been experiencing the past 4 years and where we're going, where we're transitioning towards, and how angry people are becoming, right? And they are exhausted financially. You know, there's two kinds of exhaustions, but like, yeah, I mean, if something is out of balance, your energy will also leak into that, trying to solve it. And all of a sudden your life is completely unstable. So if you're exhausted, it's scary. All right, it's scary if there's nothing you can do about it. But if you can offset your problems to someone else, that is something to fight for. And technically, I'm fighting for that every day. That's why I need friends in the first place. You know, maybe some woman said something about sex giving energy, but just have friends, all right? But at least I have some friends, and at least I have some cats to click on.
But at least I got my friends.
Alright, see you guys next time. Stuff life. But you gotta try and keep up. And you did it. You watched the whole video. Bye.